All right, what's up? We are relaunching Song of the Day at last, and I thought it would be appropriate to choose another song by Ariana Grande. This Song of the Day started with an Ariana Grande song, and this restart will also be one with a very inspirational message, but a very weird song. It would be kind of a experimental song in some regards if it came out of any musician. But the fact that it's Ariana Grande, one of the most mainstream, mainline pop sensations of this era, and was a single from her upcoming album, um, is just like pretty baffling to me. And that this is featuring Nicki Minaj, one of like the kind of highest billing guest verse people you can get on one of your songs. And she's situated in such a strange way. You could think that this is kind of like a follow up to Side to Side, another Ariana Grande song featuring Nicki Minaj. But if you were thinking that, you're going to be really confused as to how Nicki Minaj is used on this, again, just really kind of baffling track. So it starts with this sample from a 2009 confrontation between a member of the public and Pennsylvania Senator Arlen Specter around the issue of private insurance under the Democratic healthcare proposal. And I feel like, outside of the fact that it was sampled on some other NERD tracks, and there's maybe this political subtext. It's not like this was like a big meme. It's not like this was a recognized thing. The guy kind of sounds like Gilbert Gottfried, and is really kind of abrasive to hear in his whining cry to allow people to speak to this. And this is accompanied by a really almost noisy, abrasive hit that's like a really unmastered synth sound, which is just so foreign to the idea of pop music. Like, normally pop music has a very resolved sound, that everything you're hearing is after so many layers of mastering and mixing, that they know exactly how it's going to sound to you, no matter kind of what hardware you're experiencing it on. And nowadays, I think they're trying to make it so that it still sounds good, even if it's on your crappy phone speakers or on your laptop speakers or whatever. This is kind of a modern reality of pop music, is that we have to account for the fact that people are listening to music on all these different devices. It's not just the days where you would have at least like a car stereo or some crappy earbuds at the very least. What this ends up leading to is, as I said, like a very resolved sound. Whereas this I would describe as a very primitive, raw sound. One that, when it's resolved into hearing it over your phone speakers or your laptop speakers, doesn't sound that crazy. Like, it just kind of sounds like a do, 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 like kind of like a beat establishing little tick sound. But that if you listen to on proper cans or on good speakers, you'll realize is actually mixed into the sound in like a really bizarre and abrasive way. Over top of that, then we start getting these sort of synths that I associate with Earthbound, and Nicki Minaj's verse coming immediately, whereas normally this is kind of like a tactical weapon that you deploy late into the song to kind of carry people with hype into the final chorus or whatever. No, it's just right here at the start. It's pretty short. It's kind of normal Nicki Minaj stuff, that, she's referencing some memes and not really caring at all about what the rest of the song is about. It's in her era where she was calling herself Chun-Li all the time, and she had a song called Chun-Li, and it's like, sure, I'm into that. But it was always like she thought that Chun-Li was the bad guy of Street Fighter. Now I'm the bad guy, call me Chun-Li. Chun-Li is a policewoman. She's on the side of justice. She's a good character. She's not like Akuma or Oni or Evil Ryu or Violent Ken or M. Bison or whatever. She's not a villain. Why do you keep saying that Chun-Li is the bad guy? But whatever. So she does this little verse, and she goes, "Yo, Ariana, come and let me give you a high five." And then that's it. She's just gone from the song after that point. And what follows is this long kind of rambling, multiverse. Like, look at this, like chorus, verse, refrain, free chorus, chorus, verse, refrain. It's like very truncated and sometimes truncated, and it never seems to kind of fit into your expectations. That even late into the song, there's like major stylistic changes with like the rhythm and the singing style. It's really all over the place and kind of has this kind of like wandering feeling, which I think fits very nicely with the music video where she just is wandering on the woods for some reason. Um, the lyrics in general, I think are fairly self-explanatory. Um, Again, just even just looking at the lyrics, you can tell that there's major shifts in the way that things are being delivered, and just like the most general kind of rhythmic stuff. But to me, the really beautiful part of the lyrics is this idea of the hook, the idea that's espoused in the title and in the hook. The light is coming to give back everything the darkness stole. And in that one line, it's kind of a microcosm of this whole wandering structure that there's so many ways that you conceivably could rework this line to make it shorter, poppier, not kind of feeling like it's always sort of elongating on itself, and kind of stumbling forward on its rhythmic foot. But the way that they've worded it, I think, is so precise for a reason that it gets across a certain kind of chronological ordering that's impossible with any sort of rephrasing of it. All right, so let's break it down. We start with the light. So this is clearly the focal point of the entire sentence. But then we go, the light is coming. So this is like the present progressive tense. The light is currently in the process of coming. Coming, of course, meaning that it isn't here yet. It's somewhere else, but it is coming. It's moving towards us now, but it's not here yet. To give back, so this implies some object to whom things are going to be given back, which we can assume here to be both the speaker, Ariana, and ourselves, the listener. The light is giving it back to all of us. And that kind of is mirrored with everything to all of us. The light is coming to give back everything the darkness stole. So it's like you got to kind of put these events in order. There was a time where we had everything. Okay? It's not that the light had everything or that the darkness had everything, but we had everything. And I think this is kind of interesting. This sort of sets it apart already from kind of your more traditional creation myths that first sort of situate livelihood in the realm of gods or in the realm of chaos or whatever, and then humanity emerges from it. This is saying that at first it all belonged to us, that it belonged to humanity, okay? And then at some point, the darkness stole that from us. There was things that the darkness stole, everything that the darkness stole. It was all taken from us. But now, at some point in the future, the light is going to give back everything that the darkness stole. Not that the light will take it for itself. It's not that we're moving into some era of only light or whatever, but that we will now be returned these things that the darkness stole. So it speaks to me to kind of a primeval return to innocence, which is something that has really fascinated me in human culture, this sort of persistent desire to return to a golden age that existed vaguely in the past, before things got so wrong. And people with like diametrically opposed beliefs and completely different understandings of what that golden age meant and what it means for it to return now will both be compelled by the same feeling and will both use the same sort of rhetoric to talk about the same thing, or to talk about, sorry, completely different things, which is very interesting to me. And I don't know, it's like it's like a very hopeful message because it acknowledges so much and it doesn't seem to ask for too much either. Like it's not beating around the bush that there's a lot of things that were taken from us, and yet we also can't hope that things will just miraculously, infinitely improve. Just that what was taken will be returned. Like that's. Do you feel me? Do you feel me on this? I don't know if you're feeling me on this. It's I don't know. Just something about this the phrasing of this I find really beautiful. I find it like very full of hope and full of light. The light is coming to give back everything the darkness stole. Just the phrasing of it, the inherent rhythm that it moves from this extremely inspirational statement in the abstract, reckons it with complete and kind of a praxis type of action, and then this last kind of like that it's being sung in the era where the darkness has still stolen everything, where we still have nothing, and acknowledging that at the end. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think this song's pretty great. It's so weird that all of this made it into the first single of her next album. I think it was the first single. Maybe there's another one. But it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's great. What? Chumley is not the bad guy. And no, not yet. That's just it. Not yet. All she's saying is that the light is coming. It's not here yet, but it is coming. All right, that's all for Song of the Day for now.